Welcome back to All Time Wrestling. I'm here to take you through the Rumble edition. It's about 1:40 in the morning here, so I am getting drowsy and tired. So if I make any mistakes, I do apologize. I'm not going to take you through all the rules, but I will take you through the majority of it and how to play the Rumble mode. And I'm really excited about you playing this, which is why I'm up so late shooting this video, because it plays so differently than every other All Time Wrestling game mode that you've tried, and you'll see it in a second. And just to let you know how this works, this is not a Royal Rumble. This is a faction Rumble. This is what we call an Abu Dhabi Rumble, homage to the city that we are from. And the way the Rumble mode works is you actually pick 3 wrestlers. This is your faction. And the point of the game is one of your faction members needs to win the Rumble. And every player is going to have a faction of 2 to 3 wrestlers, depending on who they select. War is going to happen. And obviously, just like any Rumble match, the last man standing, or in this case, the last team standing, will win the Rumble. Now, it's important to say that these wrestlers, these factions, they've already been pre-constructed in the match. Meaning, if you open the rule book, you will find that certain wrestlers have been grouped in certain factions, and there are faction names. I don't want to spoil it. But as well, we give you the opportunity to form your own factions. So there's an element in the back of the rule book where it gives you all the rules of how to form your own faction. In this case, that's what I've done. I've formed my own factions, and I want to introduce you to my factions before we go any further. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my first faction, which is the team of Sergeant Slaughter. And yeah, it has Brian Pillman, but more importantly, I've added Abraham Lincoln. I don't know, I kind of chuckle at the prospect of having both Sergeant Slaughter and Lincoln play together. I think it would be pretty cool. So that is my team, Sergeant Slaughter, Lincoln, and Brian Pillman. And the attack cards that I've selected for this team are strikers. I know Abraham Lincoln was more of a grappler, but I thought that he might be in the mood to punch somebody. And what the heck are striker decks? What are you talking about, Mo? Okay, so very simply, yes, you can construct your own deck. But what we've done to make the game simple is we've constructed a few decks, that you can utilize. One of them is called Strikers, the other is Power, the other is Risk Takers, and the final one are Wrestlers. And you pick any of these 4 decks to be the deck that is customizable to your wrestler. You can customize part of it, you can construct a whole deck on your own, or you can use these pre-constructed decks. And these, just to be clear, these 15 attack cards are not unique to Sergeant Slaughter or Abraham Lincoln or a particular wrestler that you've selected. They're for the entire team. So you've got to be very careful with these, because these should last you for the entire game, your 15 attack cards. So card management is a very important aspect. Now, let's go back to the player board. So, and introducing the teams. The second team I want to introduce are the team of wrestlers. So this is the deck that I've selected. They're the wrestlers deck. And the wrestlers that I've selected are Nick Aldis, one of the longest NWA reigning NWA champions in recent time, Kurt Angle, and Dynamite Kid. What a team, huh? So, that is the second team I've selected. I might have cheated a little bit on the rules. I don't think I'm allowed to have all that firepower on one team. And then the final team I've selected up here is Randy Savage, Alms, and Ray Jaguar. And these are the risk takers, the people who like to fly at times, and they like to take some high risks. And those are the attack cards. Those are the players. The final thing in the setup is the Rumble special cards. And these are really the heart of the game. They are super powerful. So I'll just give you an example of how these work. So if you draw this card, this tells you that it has an attacking ability and a defensive ability. And let me try to zoom in actually on these. So the attacking ability right here states that before you roll a dice, so before you attack someone, you can play this card, and you gain a -2 target roll, which means that if you needed to roll a 3, now you only need to roll a 1, which is an automatic success. On defense, it says before someone attacks you with a roll, if he's attacking you with a clothesline or any attack move that says running or lariat, then you would stop the attack and you would attempt to eliminate them. So imagine he's running at you with a clothesline. Wait, I gotta reenact this again, guys. It's 2 in the morning by now. So imagine he comes at you with a clothesline, and because you have that card, you duck and you use his own momentum against him to try to eliminate him, maybe lowering the ropes or pushing him out. And that's a very, very powerful card. These cards are so different, right? So for example, this card allows you on attack to throw your opponent out of the ring or over the top rope and try to eliminate him. If you hit him successfully or hit her successfully, and their health is lower than 4, so if their health is 3 or lower. Or you can use this card as a defensive ability by re-rolling 1 die when trying to kick out of a pinfall attempt. So imagine you, not re-rolling, rolling 1 die instead of rolling 2 dice. So, this is the cool part about this game, is these Rumble special cards are so unique and so powerful. And you're really gonna make sure that you have enough of them to get you through the game. And each card can be used either on attack or on defense. And so you have this option and this cool choice to make on how you want to use the cards. I've seen players use them all for attack, and some players have used it all for defense. Now, each player has this 1 reversal token. That's the only ability that you get to stop an attack. You can use it to stop an attack, or you can use it to hang on to the ropes and enter the ring if someone tries to eliminate you. And it's a one-time ability. You'll see it here. Let me just zoom in, card angle. So that'll tell you this box can be used to reverse an attack or to stop an elimination attempt against you. And then you'll see this part at the bottom. So every wrestler has their unique ability. If it doesn't make any sense to you, that's fine, because at the back of the rulebook, all the wrestlers' abilities are listed, along with what each one of those Rumble special cards means. So you never have to kind of wander and get into the rulebook. It's right there in front of you. Okay, so that is how the players start, the major concepts of the game. I want to walk you through how you actually play around. So the first thing you do when you play around, assuming obviously that you've drawn 5 cards to start the match with a damage of 9 or less. You've selected, I shouldn't have said drawn, you've selected 5 cards with 9 damage or less. The first thing is every single wrestler, let me put this on the side. So imagine everyone has a deck of cards, attack cards. So every single wrestler will pick an attack card and the player they want to attack, and they'll place it face down. So in this case, for example, as Sergeant Slaughter, I've played something face down and I've targeted a specific player, and no one knows who you're targeting and no one knows what you're attacking them with. Is it a finisher? Is it just a punch? What are you doing? And then once all the players have done this, you reveal the cards at the same time, and then you see who's attacking what. So for example, player 1, Sergeant Slaughter, is attacking player 2, which is Kurt Angle, and he's attacking him for 1 damage. The same thing for Kurt Angle, he's attacking Randy Savage in this case with a double leg takedown. And then the turn order is determined by the target roll. So you look at all these attack cards, and whoever has the highest target roll gets to go first. If there's a tie between the wrestlers, then the person with the lowest health goes first. And if there's still a tie, then the person who rolls the highest dice. And turn order is determined accordingly, and the round begins. Now, I've just noticed I haven't set my health and stamina up. The health and stamina are listed on your bio cards. So for example, Kurt Angle starts with 7 health and 12 stamina. but his low health is at 1. Now you'll notice in the Rumble edition, and not everyone has high health. Actually, most of the wrestlers' health is 7 or below, I think, with the exception of Andre the Giant and a few others. And so it's been designed this way because it's a short game, and B, it's not a main event WrestleMania classic where every wrestler is going to kick out of 7 finishers. Usually in the Rumble, yes, there are a few wrestlers that make the distance, but even some of the greatest wrestlers sometimes are eliminated after 5 or 10 minutes. So this allows you to do so in this Rumble mode. So anyways, long story short is you do that, you reveal your attacks, and then each attack is resolved in turn order, just like any old-time wrestling game, with the defender being able to defend. If he skips his defensive window ability, then the attacker would roll and they would do damage and the match would continue. Now, there are a few changes here. Number 1, you cannot discard cards like this to stop an attack. Remember, in an all-time wrestling game, you can always discard 2 cards to stop an attack against you. That's not permissible in a Rumble match. The only way you can stop an attack is by using this one-time ability you have, which is very precious, or using some of these Rumble special cards, which block attacks. For example, so some of them will block attacks. Some of them, I'll show you here, means that your opponent's target roll is added by 2. So before they roll a dice, instead of rolling a 3, they have to roll a 5. So that's how you defend yourself, by these Rumble special cards and through that one-time ability that you see on your board. So that's another reason why these Rumble special cards are so powerful and so important. And so the other rule that's different in Rumble mode is the damage you do to a player and how you eliminate them. So anytime you do 3 or more damage to a defender through an attack, you have the opportunity to throw them out of the ring, off the top rope, and hopefully both their feet hit the floor, right? And the way the game's been designed is you can do this in a couple of ways. And by the way, everything I mentioned here is written here. So you can eliminate an opponent by number 1, doing 3 or more damage. The other way, the other major way to do this is by playing one of those Rumble special cards. Remember when I said that some of these cards on attack can be used to eliminate an opponent. So for example, here over the top, if your health is 3 or lower, your opponent, after hitting you, can play this card and automatically attempt an elimination. Remember, eliminations are always attempts. There's never an automatic elimination in Rumble mode. The person being eliminated always has the chance to stay in the ring and grab the top rope. And the way you do this is just like an all-time wrestling match. You look at what your total health is. So in this case, let's say Sergeant Slaughter's health is 4. And because he and his low health, according to the player board, is 2, so he would get 3 kick-out attempts to roll 4 or less. So if someone's trying to eliminate Sergeant Slaughter, 1, 2, 3, he would be eliminated. Now, obviously, Sergeant Slaughter could have used this token to stay in the ring, or there are some cards here that allow you to stay in the ring, like hanging on, for example. Let me show you this to you. So this stops an elimination attempt. You hang on to the top rope and you're able to come back to the ring. So this is another way to remain in the match. Other ways you can do so is you can play cards like this. So if I played this card, Sergeant Slaughter would have gained 2 health, and now my roll would have been a lot easier for obvious reasons. If you eliminate a player and an opponent, there is some very important information that you should be aware of. Sergeant Slaughter, assuming he is eliminated, you would then enter the next round with Abraham Lincoln, whoever was at the top, because you pre-arrange your deck based on the turn or based on the Rumble entry order that you would like. In this case, Lincoln would come in, he would regain his token here, and he would come in with 4 health and with a minimum health of 1 as per the profile card. Let me show this to you. As per his profile card. Assuming we unlock him through a stretch goal. Relying on you guys please continue supporting us. Now, one thing I want to say is that whatever cards are in your hand remain in your hand. Whatever cards are discarded remain discarded. The other thing is, anytime you come into, anytime you're eliminated, excuse me, there are a couple of rules that you need to be aware of. And again, I'll put this here just so that you can see it together. So when you eliminate an opponent, you discard their card. The opponent draws one rumble card if targeted by 2 players. And this is key. So in this case, if both Randy Savage and Kurt Angle attack Sergeant Slaughter, and he was eliminated in that round, as compensation for being ganged up on, you gain one of these very powerful Rumble special cards. And anytime you draw a Rumble special card, by the way, you draw 2 cards. So let me do this. You draw 2 cards, you look at them, you pick one, and the other you discard face down. And in this way, you have better options and better choices of what kind of card you would like the most. The third thing that happens when someone gets eliminated is the attacker can boast. He just eliminated someone, so he can boast, and accordingly, they would gain, as you can see, 3 momentum, they draw 2 cards from their deck, and they gain 1 stamina. And then the attacker turn ends. Now, there is this other player can play veteran to attacker. What the heck does that mean, Mo? All right, so this is super important and super fun. So imagine Kurt Angle was the one who eliminated Sergeant Slaughter. And, Kurt Angle's boasting. Randy Savage, if Randy Savage has this card, which says veteran, there's only 2 or 3 of these in this entire deck. He can play that card. He's neither the attacker or the defender. He's a 3rd player. But he can play this card to attack Kurt Angle. Assuming Kurt Angle has lower than 5 health, he can attempt to eliminate Kurt Angle, which is super cool. Imagine Kurt Angle eliminates Sergeant Slaughter, his back is still turned, and Randy Savage would come from the back and try to throw him off, which is super thematic and a very cool card, one of my favorite cards to use. So that is how the game pretty much works. You'll notice here that a lot of these icons are explained, so you don't have to worry about the icon overdose that you might have gone through right now. And that is how the Rumble is played. There's one more thing that you might ask, Mo, how the heck do you gain Rumble cards? So I explained one way, which is you gain Rumble cards by, if you remember, if you get eliminated by being attacked by 2 or more players. But there's a much simpler way. At the beginning of each round, you can discard 1 card from your hand. Any card into the discard pile, as long as it's not your finisher. Or you can spend 3 stamina. So in this case, oh wait, you guys can't see this player board. Sorry about this. So you can spend 3 stamina, and you get to draw, as I mentioned, 2 Rumble cards, and you pick one and you discard the other. So that is how drawing Rumble cards are. You have to sacrifice an attack card or 3 stamina to draw one of those bad boys, but I think it's definitely worth it, especially if you have enough stamina or if you have enough attack cards in your hand. That's pretty much it. I hope I didn't miss out on much. Again, it's 2 in the morning. I hope all this made sense. One final thing I wanted to mention are these abilities, just to give you a little bit of a flavor on what these mean. So for Kurt Angle, what this means is he can spend 1 stamina, and if he rolls a 5 or more, he can block an attack against them. For Dynamite Kid, when he's low on stamina, he spends no stamina to attack, which is quite powerful. For example, let's give you a few other examples. For Brian Pillman, he can actually lose 1 momentum, assuming his momentum is above 0, when defending against an opponent. And the opponent's target roll would increase by 1. So there are all these kind of cool cards you can do. And again, as I mentioned, you can customize your own faction, customize your attack deck, and this is a lot of fun. If you get the let me look at you guys. If you get the deluxe version, you'll have access to about 20, I'd assume 24 wrestlers, maybe 25 with Lincoln if that's unlocked. And so there's enough variability here and so many ways you can build your faction. There's even a drafting mechanism that we've explored in the past that you can utilize as well. Anyways, I thank you so much for your support. If you have any comments, if you have any inquiries, please let us know. But we're really super excited about this. I mean, look at this. There's not even a player board here. The game is so different, and it's so much fun, and it's so quick with these cards. I think you guys are gonna have a blast. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys soon.